Hi, and welcome to our show. My name is Curtis Brooks. This is Entrepreneurship, episode number 18. Today we're talking about emotional fortitude. 3 things you should know as an entrepreneur. As I always like to do, I like to read the definition of words. That is actually very important. It should be important to you because words have meaning, and without the meaning, they're just absolutely nothing to them. But because they have meaning, they produce that which is after its own kind. So that being said, emotional fortitude is the word that we are reading the definition of. The word emotional fortitude is the ability to mentally and emotionally weather setbacks, disappointments, and failures and frustrations. It is, in my view, the single most undervalued aspect of human psychology. When it comes to training and education, as emotional fortitude is the bedrock upon which we build our psyche. How powerful is that? The other part of that was more like commentary. Again, my name is Curtis Brooks. Today we're going to dive right into emotional fortitude, 3 things you should know as an entrepreneur. This is going to be an absolutely awesome show, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Again, we're talking about emotional fortitude. I want to start off with risk taker. One of the things that you should know as an entrepreneur, if you are going to build emotional fortitude, you have to be a risk taker. You have to. It is absolutely essential. And I have this first one bullet point here, again, be a risk taker. I have it labeled /faith because it's important that faith is involved in it. I don't like to think or believe that faith is blind. I believe that when you are connected to the very source, the very process that's happening in your life, there is no such thing as blind faith. I think that you're walking on something that you know, and it's just a matter of time before it becomes fruitful for you. So that being said, risk, are they walking in blind faith, or is it just something that you just toss in the air? Again, I don't believe in blind faith. Let me know your thoughts in the post of this Facebook Live event. Nevertheless, if you are a risk taker, you are building emotional fortitude. And not just any risk taker, but a risk taker who's willing to learn from their mistakes. I specifically chose this one, out of the 3 points that I'll be talking about, I specifically chose this one to be our very first point. We're talking about being a risk taker. Topic of our show is, what is emotional fortitude? 3 things you should know as an entrepreneur. You first must be a risk taker. It is absolutely essential to be a risk taker. And without it, you can't build the emotional fortitude that you and I are going to need to become an entrepreneur. It is absolutely essential. It is absolutely essential. I'm trying to pull my screen up here as I'm trying to watch the broadcast here. But it is absolutely essential. Thank you, Tish, for watching, and I appreciate you. You have always been a supporter, so thank you, Tish. But nevertheless, we're talking about what is emotional fortitude. It is absolutely essential to have as an entrepreneur. Without it, you will be a weak back, spaghetti back person who cannot withstand the challenges in life. We have to remember that the challenges in life, hey, good morning, Tish, how are you? Absolutely, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. The challenges in life are absolutely going to come in all different directions. And without the emotional fortitude, and here's the thing about emotional fortitude. You can build it, but you can't, it doesn't become emotional fortitude unless you know what you're building. Unless you come back with a lesson that you've learned from the risk that you have taken. Again, I've got 3 points I'm going to discuss during our show. So I specifically designed this to talk about being a risk taker. You have to be a risk taker. We've got a break coming up in about 17 seconds, 16 seconds. So tune in, folks. We will dive into talking about being a risk taker, how important it is for you and I to be risk takers as we. All right, we are back here. Again, we're talking about what is emotional fortitude. 3 things you should know as an entrepreneur. We're talking about being a risk taker. Again, being a risk taker is absolutely essential for you and I as entrepreneurs. Without it, again, we are going to fall through the cracks, if you will. And if you're not taking risk, you're comfortable. That's the bottom line. Because I can remember as a child, when I was a small child, I think 5th grade and 6th grade, well, not too small, but nevertheless, about 5th or 6th grade, living in Chicago, the winters were brutal, and I'd be dragging my shovel with a bucket of salt, knocking on doors of the neighbors or just throughout the neighborhood, asking, did you want your snow shovel? In the summertime, it was pushing my lawnmower. Did you want your grass cut with a additional can of gasoline in case I was running out of fuel? But my point is that when I was younger, the risk was just something I did. I didn't know I was taking risk. But as we get older, we have a tendency to scale back on taking risk because in our mind, we've learned some different things. We've learned a lot of different things. So we find ourselves, again, taking less risk. And why are we taking less risk? We're taking less risk, again, because we are battling we are battling ourselves with the information that we have taken in, absorbed throughout life. We're dealing with the challenges that we have come across in life. We're dealing with our own environment. We're dealing with those individuals who in our lives who are not risk takers. And it's easy to understand that why we wouldn't become risk takers. Because in most cases, we don't have someone who is taking risk in the same fashion that we're taking risk. It's hard to eventually for us to step out there and take the risk. It's absolutely going to be very difficult for us to step out there and take those risks. And without taking the risk, again, you and we're not going to become the entrepreneurs that we are desiring to become. So taking risk is absolutely essential. You must take risk. And it's interesting how when we choose not to take risk, as I mentioned earlier, our offspring will be reluctant to take risk. Without risk, there's no product that you may be desiring that will come to market. There's no service that you will eventually create, even if it's your own hope, or this is what I want to do in life. But without you and I taking the risk, there's absolutely no product, there's no service that will ever come to market. So it becomes absolutely essential for you and I to take risk. Why do we take risk? Because ultimately we have to break habits. Risk, when we take risk, they break habits. And the habits is what keeps us. Our habits keep us grounded, if you will. Our habits keep us in that remote island, if you will, that island that's off to itself, that island that wants to say, hey, come and hang out with me. Come and hang out with me because I don't have a whole lot going on, because I'm sitting in this place of fear. I'm afraid to take risk. And if you are a coach, if you are a business owner, If you are a CEO, if you are a leader in any capacity, you must take risk. You must desire people who are taking risks, because if they're not taking risks, guess what? You don't have a service for them. Because if you have a service, if you have a product, you, my friend, are looking for people who are taking risk. They're trusting in the process. They're trusting in the service or the product they're bringing to the market. So rest assured, you and I, we're all looking for people to take risk. And if they're not taking risk, there's nothing that you and I can do for them. So therefore, risk becomes absolutely essential to building emotional fortitude. Remember, the definition, as I read earlier, I don't know if you were on, as I read the definition earlier, Tish, is that the definition for emotional fortitude is the ability to mentally and emotionally to weather setbacks, disappointments, failures, and frustrations. How many of us have weathered those setbacks, those frustrations, those disappointments? And so if you and I are taking risk, rest assured, even to have faith, rest assured, not only to have faith, but to act on your faith. And you can call it taking risk, but to act on your faith will suffer setbacks. Doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but to act on your faith is to suffer some setbacks, to suffer some disappointments or frustrations. Think about it, guys. There is no straight path. I wish I could say that it is, but there is no straight path. So as entrepreneurs, as you are building your emotional fortitude, you must understand that there's a price to pay. That price may be looking foolish to some people who choose not to take a risk. That price to pay may be being embarrassed for the fact that you stepped out there, or feeling embarrassed that you stepped out there. But rest assured, there's going to be a price to pay. But the reward is awesome, and is so much bigger than you and I can even count. It's called emotional fortitude. Again, the ability to mentally and emotionally weather setbacks, disappointments, failures, and frustrations. That is your reward. Because rest assured, they are going to come in life. That is a fact. That disappointments, frustrations, and setbacks are just built into life. And we have to accept that. And the sooner we accept that, the sooner and the better off we'll be as we are making our way to fulfill our goals, our dreams as entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders. Rest assured, setbacks, disappointments, and frustrations are in fact a part of life. Know that, live it, and accept it and understand it. Absolutely. And our second point is discipline. The word discipline, or from the word discipline, we get the word disciple. So you must be a disciple of something. You must be a student of something in order to build emotional fortitude. You must be a student of something. You have to be a student of something. You're going to be a student of something in order to build emotional fortitude. What is it in life to have gone to school and just find yourself constantly repeating the lessons over and over? Think about it. What is it in life for us to have gone through the trial, if you will? Perhaps most of us are well beyond the age of school and any kind of, not so much formal, but just more like a primary education. But maybe most of us, again, are beyond those years. But what is it to have gone to school or gone through different trials and find ourselves repeating the same thing over and over. So my point is that you and I are going to be a student of something. We are going to be disciples of something. Something in life is going to teach us. We're either going to learn it, put it to use, or continue practicing the same thing over and over. It's something to think about, guys. I believe the life that we're living right now, it just gives you everything that you need. It has for us in this life everything that we need. There are absolutely signs and wonders in this life, and we can choose to learn from them, grow from them, and build ourselves up to that inner being, if you will. And that's exactly where the emotional fortitude comes in, because for emotional fortitude, it's not something that you can count. It's not something that you can quantify. It's something that is. It represents a person being able to deal with the setbacks, deal with the frustrations in life, mentally and emotionally. Those are the people, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Those are the individuals that I want to work with. And those are the individuals that you and I, you Tish, I'm sure, absolutely, as a caterer. We are back here again. We were talking about emotional fortitude. What is emotional fortitude? And 3 things that you should know as an entrepreneur. Again, emotional fortitude. We're talking about discipline, how important it is to have discipline as you are building your emotional fortitude. Again, emotional fortitude cannot be counted. It cannot be quantified in any manner. But what if we could? What would it look like? And I think it's the secret to life, if you will. I think it is the missing, it is the cornerstone of life, the emotional fortitude. Because if we know that life is going to just be challenged, life is going to challenge us. People are going to challenge us. And there's absolutely going to be no straight, direct path to your goal, to our dream, to our destiny, whatever that may be for you. But know that life will have disappointments. Life will have setbacks. You're going to be frustrated. Some of the very people that you love and some of the very people that you've given so much to, they're going to disappoint us. But the emotional fortitude comes into play when you and I have prepared ourselves. Factor that in, much like you and I would put together a budget or something. The emotional fortitude is absolutely essential. That is the reward that we get from accepting the setbacks in life and just forging ahead. That is the reward that we get, is the emotional fortitude. And I would venture to say that is what so many of us are missing. That is the emotional fortitude. And that, my friend, is the very fruit. That is what we're missing. That's the fruit that we're working for. That is the silver and gold that we are desiring. That is the missing link to your success, to my success. Because when we can stand strong and a capacity of being strength again, fortified emotionally and mentally, when we can find ourselves standing strong and being able to deal with the setbacks, the frustrations in life, rest assured, others are going to come looking for us because that's what they want. That's what they're desiring. They're desiring to be fortified, and they want to know, where did you get your strength from? They want to know, how do I get this? Where's this growing at? But the truth of the matter is, the only way that you and I can become emotionally grounded is that you've got to learn how to deal with the setbacks. You've got to learn how to deal with the disappointments and the frustrations. And again, the very people that you and I will love and adore, those will be the people that will bring us the most setbacks, or the biggest setbacks, the most difficult frustrations, and hugely disappoint us. And it's a matter of us getting over it. It's a matter of us getting around it, getting under it, going over the top, whatever we may have to do. Because in the end, we have to remember that we are on a mission. You are on a mission. Thirdly, we have to be a thinker. You and I are not going to survive without thinking. I liken emotional fortitude to a chess game. I liken emotional fortitude to becoming a chess master. Because rest assured, without some kind of discipline, this is where the chess game is played in here. The chess game is played right in here. And many of us are just going through life and thinking that, oh, it's so difficult, it's so difficult. It is difficult. It's difficult when you don't understand how the game is played. It's difficult when you don't understand the rules of the game, if you will. It's difficult to have had gone through the lesson over and over and again, continues going through the lesson and not being able to extract the fruit from it. It's difficult when you don't ask questions. It's difficult when you forget the road that you've been traveling through or under or in or on. It's difficult to walk down that path over and over again. And I'm going to venture to say that it's not about the walking the path. It's the thinking. It's the thinking that the habits will give to us, if you will. Before there's a habit, there's thinking. In most cases, people have done the thinking for us. But as entrepreneurs, in order to build this emotional fortitude, you've got to become a thinker. You must become a thinker. And if you and I are going to become the super entrepreneurs or those serial entrepreneurs, succeeding in everything that we touch and helping others to succeed, we must encourage people to think. We must encourage ourselves to think. We must recognize the habits that we have. We must recognize the habits in our life, if you will. The habits that we have formed in our lives. We must pay attention to those habits, because out of the habits, we're not thinking. We're not thinking in habits. Habits are just habits. It's something that you do habitually. It's a routine. It's a pattern that you have down. It's that tire. If you're from the East Coast or the Midwest, you're familiar with snow. It's that tire spinning in the snow, getting stuck habitually. It's you and I putting pressure on the pedal, giving it gas, and the tire spinning and just spinning and getting nowhere or going nowhere. And it's the habits that need to break. In order to break the habits, we must become a thinker. A thinker might put salt down before they continue pressing on the gas, if you will, and that tire becomes or eventually spins and spins in the snow. And eventually we get ourselves stuck in a bigger rut, if you will. A thinker is going to ask for help. A thinker might learn how to give it gas and kind of rock the car back and forth, if you will. A thinker might put that vehicle in neutral and have someone help them push the car out before they give the car too much gas and that tire spins, and therefore putting them in a much bigger situation than they are. That's what thinkers do. And that's what the name of the game is, folks. The name of the game is you have to think your way out. Habits are formed mostly because it's what we're told to do. Habits are formed, I'll say it again, it's because it's what we are told to do. It's the direction that we have been given from when we're yay small. And some of those habits have worked for a time. And it's been a season for those, it's been a great season for those habits for such a time. But when you find yourself wanting to go beyond your current situation, you have to break the habit. And the only way that you and I can break the habit is that you think your way out of the habit. You must think your way out of the habit. That's the only way that you're going to deliver the power that you need to change your situation. You must think your way out of the habit and eventually form new habits. That's what it's about, guys. It's about taking risk as we're wrapping it up here. It's about taking risk. It's about discipline. You're going to become a disciple to something, to some understanding or not. Whether it makes sense to you or it doesn't, you will become a disciple to something, to some understanding greater than your own situation or beneath your situation. All right, guys, we are back. We've been talking about what is emotional fortitude, 3 things you should know as an entrepreneur. And as we're wrapping up here, we're just, again, touching bases on the 3 points that I've already mentioned. That is, you must take risk as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, as a parent, as an employee. If you are going to change your situation, thereby building the emotional fortitude that is needed, the mental and emotional fortitude that is needed, if you're going to build that, you must take risk. Secondly, you must know without a shadow of a doubt, this is a fact, you will become a disciple to some understanding, whether it's been given to you or you adopt it. You will become a disciple to some understanding greater than yourself. In order to change your situation, you have to become a disciple, a student, to an understanding that's greater than yourself. Great, because when you do, it's going to afford you to step out of your own self, step out of here, and become the student that you need to go to your next level. And it takes discipline. It takes being discipled. Okay? From the word discipline, we get disciple. Or from disciple, we get the word discipline. You must have disciplines in your life in order to build the emotional fortitude. Just one quick example. If you're dieting, how many of us have tried to diet? Does that take discipline? You bet it does. Absolutely it takes discipline. And at the end of that diet, or if there's such a thing that diets ever end, but nevertheless, at the end of that period, you may have lost 3-4 pounds, maybe 10 pounds, maybe more. But you set a target goal, your first discipline, and you begin to practice that which you are wanting, your desired outcome. You become a student of that which you are practicing. So discipline is absolutely essential to our building of our emotional fortitude. It's absolutely essential. And thirdly, you must be a thinker. You must be a thinker. In order to build emotional fortitude, you must be a thinker. Thinking is going to break the habit. Thinking is going to break the routine. And when the routine is broken, you can therefore take on a new plateau, if you will, reach new levels, reach new heights. But you must be a thinker, because the only way that you're going to take on new levels, change old habits, or change your current habits, is that you must think your way out. Think about your strategy. Think about things that you are doing, your daily habits. Think about our time wasters. We must give thought to those things in order to change them. And if we're not giving thought to them, they eventually become the very thing that absolutely could be preventing us from accomplishing our goals, from you becoming that awesome business owner, from you expanding your business, from you hiring excellent talent. So essentially, all these things are absolutely the three things that you should know as an entrepreneur. They are: be a risk taker, discipline, and you must be a thinker. The only way that you're going to break that habit and to take on new levels in your life, you must break the habit by thinking your way out of it. Look and pay attention to your daily routines, your habits. Critique yourself. Put a video together. Watch it. Ask questions from others. Break the habit. In order to break a habit, you got to think your way out. Guys, we are going to wrap it up here. This has been Entrepreneurship, episode number 18. My name is Curtis Brooks. We've been talking about what is emotional fortitude. I hope that I have been clear in my description as far as what is emotional fortitude and what exactly it is, and the three things that you should know as an entrepreneur and on how to build emotional fortitude. Again, we'll see you on Thursday for our next show. That's going to be 11 a.m. to 11:30. That's Central Time. Again, that's 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. to Central Time. Thank you, Tish. I'm sorry, reading notes here. Great show as always, and everything you said is on point, and you have to sometimes think outside the box. Absolutely, Tish. Absolutely. And I appreciate you, definitely, Tish. I appreciate your comments and you being here, but you were absolutely correct. And that was just something I've been wanting to share for a while in regards to the power for us to change our situation. And that is going to be changed through our thinking. we have to essentially change how our emotions, because if we think it, our emotions are in line with how we think. And so if we change our thoughts, we can change how we respond to ABC situation, whatever that may be. So you are absolutely right. So in order to change what's in the box, or at least get a different perspective, we have to change our thinking. So you are absolutely right. So again, thank you, Tish, for joining. I really appreciate you and all of your support. And again, Tish, I like to support you. So drop a line, Tish. Hey, don't be a stranger. Drop a line sometimes and let me know what you're doing. And I definitely want to support you. And I'm not sure, do you have your business page up, Tish? Your profile, your website? Yeah, I'm not sure if you do, but let me know if you have your website up, and I'll try and support you in any way that I can. Absolutely. Or if you have your, yeah, let me know. Do you have, yeah, Tish, do you have your Facebook profile up for you? Because you're doing catering still, right? Not yet? Okay. Yeah, get it up, girl. If you need some help, Tish, let me know. If you need some help, let me know, Tish. I would love to. Matter of fact, we can interview you or something like that. I can set that up as well. Maybe we should Skype or something. We can talk on Skype or something, and let me know what what you like to do, and I can definitely help you set it up. Yeah, absolutely, Tish. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Absolutely. So let me know, Tish. All right. So I'm here for you, sister. Absolutely. But yeah, you've been a huge support to me, a huge support. So I really appreciate that. That being said, we're going to wrap it up, and I'll be back here on Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Central Time. And again, this is Entrepreneurship episode number 18. Wow, we have been consistently doing our show for 18 episodes. Again, here on Facebook Live, Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn if you so desire. So we'll talk to you on next week or Thursday. Ciao. Thanks again, Tish.